If you have a child, I think that it is important for you to say to your child one day that, my child, I'm sorry for bringing you into a world like this. I didn't know that it was going to be like this. I wasn't conscious enough to know that the world is like this. I'm sorry. I think it will make them feel better. It will make them understand that you love them. Because really, bringing a child into this world is really that messed up. Bringing a child into this world is really that messed up. The problem is that we don't ask ourselves enough questions as people. That is why we don't realize how messed up it is to bring a sentient life into a world like this, into a world full of suffering, into a world full of unnecessary suffering, where they have to work like crazy, where they have to be indoctrinated like crazy, where they have to be treated like robots. I don't think we ask ourselves enough questions as humans, because if we asked people who have children why they had children, they wouldn't tell you. They don't even know why they had children. They were just doing what everyone is doing. You see, I was watching this other video last week. They told this other guy to go into a room, and they said whenever a bell rings, you must stand up, and when it stops ringing, you must sit down. Go into that room. We're gonna ring the bell. When it rings, stand up, and when it stops ringing, sit down. The guy went to the room and did what he was supposed to do, and they kept on sending more people into the room, but they weren't telling them anything. They weren't telling them that when the bell rings, they must stand up. No, they weren't telling them that. They just went into the room, and then those people rang the bell, and the guy stood up, and when it stopped ringing, he sat down. And they started copying him because they found him there doing that. So they thought it must be something that we're supposed to do. So they kept on doing it. What does that show us? It shows us that people don't ask enough questions. People do stupid things because they don't ask themselves enough questions, and they don't ask other people enough questions. In fact, they don't even ask questions. They just do what everyone else is doing. There's this other video that I watched on TikTok. This other guy was doing a prank. Was pranking people. So yeah, he stood in front of a building where people would just enter without having to interact with anyone. They would just enter. You know, it was normal to just enter. But that guy stood in front of that building, and he was holding some kind of a device. He stood in front of the door, and before a person enters the door, he was like, do this. And then he moved the device, you know, like he was trying to sage them. He moved that device all over their body, like he was trying to sage them. And everyone complied. They didn't ask him, okay, what the heck is going on? We used to enter this building a lot before and no one got searched. Why are we being searched now? Doesn't make sense that we are being searched. No, they didn't ask themselves why they had to be searched. They just did what everyone was doing. You see, people are cowards. They comply a lot, and that is a problem. Having children is so normal that we don't even ask ourselves what it really means. You are literally bringing a sentient being into a world full of suffering. In a world where they have to suffer in order to survive. If you decided not to bring them into this world, they will not suffer. Suffering exists because we are creating sentient beings. You see? So isn't that something that we must really think about? Should we just bring sentient beings into this world because everyone is bringing sentient beings into this world? Or we must ask ourselves enough questions. Why should we do that? How necessary is it? Is it necessary to bring a child into this world? You know what's crazy? Human beings believe in freedom. They want to be able to choose what they want, what they prefer. We choose our partners. We choose the kind of jobs that we want. We value the ability to choose. When a child is brought into this world, they are not brought into a world with their consent. They don't even get to choose their parents. So they can be born to any parent. What happens when their parents are psychos? They're going to be raised by psychos and probably turn into psychos because they were raised by psychos. Do we feel like that is fair? Is it fair that a child doesn't get to choose their parents and they have to live with these people for a very long time? They have to depend on these people for a very long time. That's completely unfair. Because the truth is, if it was possible for children to choose their parents, I don't think a lot of people will be parents. Because kids would be like, nah man, ain't no way I'm going to be in that family. Ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm going to be raised by those people. But children don't get to reject their parents. And that is why a lot of people are traumatized. That's why a lot of people turn into psychos. Because if you are raised by people who don't know how to raise children, then you're going to be traumatized somehow. And you're not going to be like really healthy when you grow up. That's something that we must understand. Consent is really, really important. So is it fair that we just decide that let's just bring children into this world just because we can? We don't even look at our financial status. We don't even look at our environment. We don't even look at our genes. We don't care about all of that. We just care about what we want. These are very important things to look at before bringing a child into this world. Because you're bringing a sentient being into this world. It should actually be a crime to bring a child into this world. I'm serious. Because it's so sick, man. This world is so messed up that we can't justify bringing a new being and into a world like this. It doesn't make any logical sense. It can never make any sense. It should be a crime, you know. We must punish parents. Like, yeah, man, you brought a child into this world. Let's punish you a little. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, this is something that we gotta think about. You know, we live in a very, very messed up society. We can't just keep on bringing, you know, new people here, even though things ain't working out for the people that are already here. You know, people that are already here are so traumatized. They don't even want to come back into this world. And we're thinking of bringing more people to do what? More people to come here and be depressed. More people to come here and complain. We're not doing good. And we must understand that. We must understand that we're not doing good as a society. So bringing a child here is not a positive thing. If we were doing good, it will make some sense. But it makes no sense to bring a child into a world where everyone is complaining, where everyone thinks things ain't actually working out. This world is truly sick, man. And that is because we keep on bringing new people here. That's because we think that we must keep on bringing new people here. Having children is so normalized that nobody ever questions it. Nobody ever questions what it means to bring a new being into a world like this. You can't even tell people to look at the world first before they bring children into this world. They're gonna think that you were sent by the devil, because the Bible says we must populate the earth. We gotta think, man. At least we're conscious. At least we're more conscious than animals. You know, we do have the ability to think, and because of that, I think, you know, we must put more value into our thinking. You know, we must value thinking. We mustn't just do things without thinking. We must take our time to think first. Whatever decision that we make, we mustn't behave like animals. You know, it's crazy that people are not being taught to think. You know, they just have to do what everyone is doing. It's crazy, man. We must think before we take any action, any kind of action. We must think. When people tell us to do something, we must think first. We must ask ourselves why we have to do what they're telling us to do. When we find people doing something, we must ask ourselves why we have to do what they're doing, or why we must not do what they're doing. We mustn't be like, okay, everyone is doing what they're doing. You know, I'm just gonna do what everyone is doing. I understand that it's important for our survival to, you know, do what everyone is doing. It's important to blend in, because when you blend in, no one ever, you know, look at you like you don't belong into, you know, a particular place, because you fit in perfectly. No one ever wants to feel alone. I get it, but we must also understand that blending in has consequences. Doing what everyone is doing has consequences. And we are suffering a lot as a society because we are doing what everyone is doing. It's only people who have realized, you know, the mistakes that we're making as a collective, that are doing something that's gonna free us, that are actually doing things that are gonna, you know, make this place better. People who are doing what everyone is doing are part of the problem. These problems that exist because we don't think. And I think that is why people who think being demonized somehow. Is because the people that are, you know, running the world, people who want things to stay like this, have realized that people who can think can free themselves and they can free others. So they are not being accepted in our society. You know, people that can think are not really being accepted in our society. People that cannot think were programmed to reject people that can think. People that can think are rejected even when they're young. A 5-year-old kid can get rejected for thinking. A 5-year-old kid can get punished for thinking. That is why a lot of intelligent people are traumatized in this society. Because if you are intelligent, you're going to think. And thinking is a sin in this society. No, in a world where everyone cannot think, thinking is a sin. That's how it is in this world. Thank you.